Hello, this is Stan once again with the Creator Entrepreneur Institute and working right alongside with What It Takes Radio. This is, as always, a presentation, but it is also an audition presentation. Now, please keep that in mind. Whenever you are given a microphone, given a stage, given a platform, it is time for a presentation. But every presentation must also be considered in your own business mind, heart, and spirit, and in terms of your ideas, influence, impact, and future and better income. Every presentation is also an audition. So, with that in mind. Now, this is also a part of the shocking part. In coaching a variety of companies and people in how they might kind of get back on track and restore themselves and particularly pick things up after a hard and difficult fall, which is what all of us are going through this fall. This has been a terrible year, and every business has suffered. Now, there have been a few who, fortunately or unfortunately, because of how it works out, have prospered. But most of us have been severely impacted, and as I stand here right now, they're thinking of doing another COVID shutdown again. I'm not so sure that's wise. I know it's not good for the children, but it's going to make business hard, very hard to do. And in recovery, I've oftentimes said with a smile, and people take it seriously, which they're meant to, but also with a touch of a little bit of wisdom and a smile. If you really want to recover, it might be helpful to be a good Catholic alcoholic. And when I said that, one guy raised his hand and said, "That's me! I guess you can help me." Well, what I mean is there are two things about the tradition that could be useful to you. I know it's not popular today, but if you're of any age or stage, it was quite a part of your youth, and in many parts of the faith, it is still traditional and still a part of what they do. And I've discovered, even though I was not raised in that tradition, it's probably a very, very good idea. It comes from ancient wisdom. And that is, you simply say, "Father, forgive me, for I have sinned. Father, forgive me, for I have sinned." Now, many of you know exactly those are the words and how you begin your confession, and then you are confessing. You got to tell people, but the person, and God's listening in, and you confess your sins. Now, sin is not necessarily just something that you did wrong with high intention. Sin means you may have missed the mark. You messed up. You made some significant and maybe stupid mistakes, and maybe even some little ones that led to some significant consequences. But the good news is that after confession, and you are asked to make some amends for what you've done, then forgiveness is pronounced. And that's very, very scriptural, biblical, and Christian in whatever tradition you come from. But you know, it's very good to say, "Forgive me, for I have sinned. I made some mistakes." And so you're honest enough to say that the reason I'm in the situation is because there are things that I probably could have done better. I could have done well. I should have been more careful. None of us do anything perfectly, so just simply to not blame others, not push it back, not get defensive, just say, "I did it." And that's helpful, and that's useful. And so I'm going to really ask you to think about the power that goes into that statement. "Father, forgive me, for I've sinned." Say it to yourself. Perhaps say it to someone as close by, maybe to a confessor or to a spiritual director or leader. maybe to a friend who will give you some guidance. And sometimes you may even have to say it to your employees and to a goodly number of people who suffered as a result, or at least were impacted by what you did or did not do. I just want that to sit on your head for a while. But let's take it at a deeper level. One of the things that I am more and more appreciative of is the fact that the guys who did the 12-step process for Alcoholics Anonymous had far greater spiritual, and it was spiritual wisdom, than we ever give them credit for. Obviously, every relief or addiction program has its proponents and its opponents. And there will be many who will tell you that, none of that spiritual Alcoholics Anonymous stuff. Just doesn't. And, of course, there are millions of people around the world who will, without hesitation, say that the 12 steps saved their life. Saved their life profoundly. I know people like that. Probably you do too. And it's a lifelong thing. I remember I was picking up a man who was a well-known priest, and he was coming to speak at our church, and he was a significant speaker, and we were so glad to have him come. And it turned out to be a wonderful time. But I picked him up at the airport. Once I picked him up and we were going down, and within about 10 minutes after he realized who I was and if I was safe, he turned to me and said, "Stan, do you know of anybody in AA?" That kind of took me by surprise. And I said, "Yeah, I do." And of course, I did. Chuck, one of my best friends, was in AA, and it had saved his life very deeply and dearly. It saved his marriage and saved his business and saved a lot of other things. And he said, "Give me his number. Give me his number." I said, "Okay, I will do that." And I did. I didn't ask anything more. But of course, my friends put me in touch with the story. The affliction, the addiction, the attachment, maybe even the disease of alcoholism, those who battle with it oftentimes know that within a minute's notice, they have to reach out for help close by somewhere. And what this rather famous priest was confessing, that while he was there in Minneapolis, he never knew in the next 4 or 5 days when that kind of need might occur, and he wanted to have somebody nearby who he knew would come right then, wherever, at any time. And by the way, Chuck would have been just that person. And I gave him the number. And you see, here's what I have fully understood much later in life. You know, when you're much younger and you're more energetic and you're, hey, it's all up to me. I'll take care of it. I'll take charge. I'll take control. You know, kind of a, Atlas shrugged. I can handle it all by myself. I'm the captain of my ship. I'm the captain of my soul. I am invincible. Finally, you'll come to that point where in step 1, you simply admit that by yourself, you can't get out of the mess you're in. I can't fix this myself. It's not going to work. As one of the old proverbs says, without God, nothing works. Doesn't make sense. And so if you're going to truly recover, it might help to just realize that step 1 is true. It's true for you and it's true for me. I will never get out of the mess without help by myself. I will need somebody else. I will need something else. I will need a power way above and beyond me. And those of us who are followers of the tradition that was given to us by Jesus would simply say, God says, I will give you great creative power. I will give you my very mind, heart, and spirit. And if that is what you are about, believe me, you, with my help, can be more than conquerors. You can overcome. Well, I just want you to think about these two things, because all of us are now in a stage. Every business person I know of is at loss in some way, is full of fear in many ways, or just simply confused as to what should I do, because there's no forecasting, there's no certainty, there's no line of action that I know will have the right kind of results. Welcome to the world that the men and women of life's experience and reflected very much, particularly in the Psalms. Everything goes wrong. And sometimes it seems that God has gone wrong too. But we must find that help. And we have to find it, first of all, in Father, forgive me for I have sinned. And, hey, I could use a little help right now. I could use a little help right now. Right now, I'm at that stage as we create the Creator Entrepreneur Institute to help men and women follow the path that they believe they're being led to serve the world, serve themselves, serve their business as entrepreneurs who are not quite afraid, but they are dealing with that fear, and they want to be more than conquerors. They want to be creators. They won't just survive. They would appreciate it if they could thrive. We can do that. We believe we can help you. Part of that is through the media and teaching training, so you can learn how to use the broadcast systems in the modern mass media and produce podcasts and video programs and all kinds of marketing and teaching presentations through What It Takes Radio. I'm Stan. I'm the one who gives some kind of leadership to it, and I will be your lead coach. But along with me and my team, we know that in some way, with God's help, we can help you. All the best and blessings. Reach out to me and my team right now. StanHouston@gmail.com. StanHouston@gmail.com. You can call me. I won't answer, but I'll return the call. Leave a message, 520-664-7002, 520-664-7002. And indeed, remember, it's okay to say, Father, forgive me, for I have sinned. Hey, I could use a little help down here. I say it often. Join me, and perhaps you can then join each other in the joy of true success, now and someday, and maybe even forever. Best and blessings, and bye for now.